Today marks 20 years since Teresa Halbach's disappearance and murder. On Halloween 2005, the 25-year-old professional photographer had her last appointment at the Avery Salvage Yard in Manitowoc County. What followed was a search for her, and the criminal cases followed nationwide, most recently in the Netflix docuseries Making a Murderer. Halbach was reported missing November 3rd. Searchers finding her Toyota RAV4 2 days later at the Avery Salvage Yard. Her cell phone, camera, bone fragments later found in a burn barrel. Stephen Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey were arrested and convicted in her murder. Teresa grew up in Calumet County, graduating from UWGB with a degree in photography. Teresa Halbach would now be 45 years old.